The state of your nervous system is the single most powerful determinant in whether you heal or stay inflamed. Your state of being determines your thoughts, and the thoughts you're having about your health, your life, and your environment, they determine what's happening in your body at a cellular level. So if your healing has felt inconsistent, confusing, or like nothing's really sticking, this is the missing piece of the puzzle. I'm Nancy Moff, physical therapist and autoimmune freedom coach. And for over 20 years, I worked with hundreds of women with autoimmune conditions, chronic pain, and inflammation. And one of the patterns I see over and over again is women being incredibly hard on themselves for the way they think and show up in the world, not realizing that those thoughts are not a reflection of their discipline or their mindset. It's actually a reflection of their nervous system state. And once you understand this, everything will start to shift. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 nervous system states, how each one shapes your thoughts and your healing, and what you can actually do. So most people think of the nervous system as something that just controls physical responses. So your heart rate, your breathing, your pain. What we now understand is that your nervous system controls something much deeper. It controls the entire lens through which you see and experience your life. So your thought, your emotions, and your beliefs about your body come from your state of being. So even what you think is possible for your healing. So there are 3 primary states your nervous system moves between. The first is your activated state. This is your fight or flight. This is urgency. This gets you on bed, how to go to work. This is a state where something is wrong and needs to be fixed. That's your survival mode state. The second state is your shutdown state. This is when your system has gone so far into protection that it actually powers down. Everything feels heavy, flat, or disconnected. That's your freeze state. And the third state is your regulated state. This is where your body finally feels safe enough to rest, to connect, and to heal. Now here's the key. These are not moods. They are not personality traits. They are biological survival states. And your nervous system doesn't just respond to real danger like a bear chasing you. It responds to perceived danger. Now it's not something you consciously think about. It's your subconscious reactions to these perceived dangers. So memories of the past, trauma patterns, your to-do list, anything that reminds you of a time that you had too much responsibility or that you're not safe, which means that many women with autoimmune conditions have been living in a state of perceived threat for years without ever realizing it. And here's why this matters so much. Each state doesn't just feel different. It creates an entirely different version of you. I can't emphasize this enough. A different inner world, a different story about your body and your healing. And once you see that, you stop blaming yourself and you start understanding yourself in a much clearer way. So I'm going to break down what each state is actually doing to your thoughts and how it changes your physiology. So this is where it gets personal. Let's start with the activated state. When your nervous system is in fight or flight, your thoughts have a very specific tone. They're urgent, they're controlling, they're catastrophizing, they're anxious. They might sound like, I need to fix this right now or else I'm running out of time. There's not enough time. Or if I don't figure this out, no one's going to get it done. I need to do more. I need to try harder. Everything just feels like an emergency all the time. And the more you listen to those thoughts, the more activated your system becomes because the fear feeds the activated state. Your thoughts and your nervous system are in a feedback loop. So each one reinforcing the other. And this is why so many women feel like they're spinning. They're doing everything but going nowhere. Now, let's look at the shutdown state. This one is quieter, actually much heavier. The state happens because you've been in an activated state for too long. The thoughts here sound different. What's the point of doing anything? I've already tried everything. My body's broken. I'm never going to get better. And the hardest part is that these thoughts don't even feel emotional. They feel almost apathetic. They feel true, but they're not the truth. They're just the state. And that state can feel incredibly convincing. And then there's the regulated state. This is where everything shifts. Your thoughts become grounded, curious, steady, and you start thinking, this is hard, but I can work with this. My body isn't against me. It's trying to protect me. I don't need to have all the answers right now. Healing is possible. Now, these thoughts don't feel forced. They feel real, but in a completely different way. And this is the state where healing actually begins because your body is finally receiving the signal it's been waiting for. You're safe. And if you're recognizing yourself in one of these dysregulated states of being activated or being disconnected, that awareness alone is powerful. But the next step is knowing what to do with it. So let's pause for a moment. If what I'm sharing today is resonating, if you're recognizing yourself in these states and you're ready to understand what's been keeping your nervous system stuck, I'd love to invite you to join my free Autoimmune Freedom Workshop. So it's where I go much deeper into everything we just shared, and I'll show you exactly how to start shifting your nervous system state so your body can finally begin to heal. You can tackle link below and join the workshop. So I'll see you there. Okay, so let's get back to today's topic. Here's the piece that most healing approaches miss. When your nervous system is dysregulated, whether activated or shut down, your brain is operating in survival mode, which means the part of your brain responsible for learning, integrating, and creating change is not fully online. That's your prefrontal cortex. So even when you're doing everything right, you're reading the books, you're listening to the podcast, you're watching these videos, you're following the protocols, try to stay positive, but it doesn't stick. Not because you're doing it wrong, but because your nervous system isn't in a state where it can receive it. This is why you can feel motivated one day and completely defeated the next. This is why things work for a short time and then they fall apart. It's not inconsistency, it's state dependence. So think of your nervous system as the foundation. Everything else, your nutrition, your supplements, your mindset work, sit on top of this, your state of being. And if that foundation isn't stable, nothing holds. So I want to share with you a story about a client who had MS. And she was really good some days, and then other days things were hard. She felt like she was walking uphill with, heavy backpack. And when she started learning how to shift states to go from being stuck or shut down to regulated, she realized that she felt way more in control, because it just seemed before that things just happened randomly and she didn't know what to expect. But when she started learning how to regulate her nervous system, how to activate her conscious brain and have it work for her instead of against her, everything shifted for her. And that can be true for you too. The moment your nervous system begins to regulate, even slightly, everything else starts to work differently. So your food can actually feel nourishing. Your movement can actually restore you. Your mindset work can actually land, because your body is finally in a state where it can receive the support. I also wanted to share the nervous system and immune system connection for women with autoimmune conditions, because this becomes even more important here. Your nervous system and your immune system are constantly communicating. Every signal your nervous system sends, your immune system listens to. So remember, your nervous system is always aware of everything that's happening. You just might not be aware of it. So the fridge noise in the background, you might not hear it because your nervous system says, okay, that's just the fridge, it's safe. But the to-do list that's in the back of your mind, you might not be consciously thinking about your to-do list, but your nervous system is. So when your nervous system is signaling danger, you have to get all these things done, or else your immune system then gets activated, and therefore it stays inflamed because it's in protection mode. And when that happens, it'll keep attacking your cells and your tissues because it believes there's a threat, there's something to attack. And this is why symptoms don't resolve even when everything else looks perfect on paper, because the root signal hasn't changed and your nervous system hasn't learned to shut off your to-do list as a danger signal the way you shut off the humming of the refrigerator. So here's the part that most people get wrong. You can't just think your way out of this. This is not just a mindset problem. You can't force calm by doing some breath work. You can't override your nervous system with just logic. The shift has to happen in your entire being, in your whole state of being, because you are a human being, not a human doer. So when you are being present in your body, feeling safe through consistent signals, this will tell your entire nervous system, it's over. The threat's gone. We're safe now. And when that happens, your thoughts change. Your immune system responds. Your body follows suit, not because you forced anything, not because you worked harder, not because you try more supplements, but because you actually gave your body what it needed this whole time. It's a state of being that is present in your body. So what I want you to take away from today is this. If your healing is felt hard, inconsistent, or like nothing is working, even though you've tried everything, it's never about how hard you were trying. It's about the state your nervous system was operating from. And now you have a map. Your next step is to understand what's been driving your inflammation at the root. And this is why I created a free inflammation indicator test specifically for women like you who've tried it all and still can't figure out why their body keeps flaring. So it takes 5 minutes and you get your results immediately, and you'll get a personalized picture of exactly what to do next based on your results. So the link is in the description below. So if this video gave you a moment, clarity, or relief that your experience finally makes sense, then stay here. Because once you start working with your nervous system instead of against it, everything about your healing begins to change once you are present in your body and you can shift your nervous system from survival mode to being regulated. I hope this video helped. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. If this did help, please subscribe, leave a comment. I would love to know your thoughts, and stay tuned the next video. I'll see you next time.